Welcome to another Tuesday Newsday, guys. I am, not muted is what I am not. There we go. I'm Alternis. I'm the Community and Marketing Director for Catalyst, and I'm here with Marco Mazzoni. I just learned how to say this correctly.
Yep, sounds great.
And
Mazzoni.
Mazzoni. I gotta do it with the
It
fingers.
helps. It does help.
And Marco is the new BattleTech art director. And by new, it's been a few months now, but
yeah, and it feels like I've always been here.
Right. Well, I'm excited to talk to you about what's brought you all the way to BattleTech art director here. But first, let's get to the news as always. So BattleTech releases, starting with that. Let me open my release schedule here. So for June, we've got June 11th. So should be a week from tomorrow. Yeah, that makes sense because it's Wednesdays. The third Star League Strike Team Force Pack finally makes it to retail. Black Remnant Command Lance that has been released on our web store, but not to FLGS. So that will be available broader retail. Intersphere Assault Lance Force Pack, Battlefield Support Heavy Battle and Sweep Lances Force Pack, and the Battle Mat Legendary Battles Twycross will be available. So those are our June releases. And then for July, we have McCarran's Cavalry Assault Lance. This was the BNN exclusive for 6 months, so that'll be officially up. Battle Mat Legendary Battles Thunder, Rift, and Misery. The third Star League Battle Group Force Pack and the Emplacements Force Pack. So those will be out. There will also be, I'm scrolling through my notes I get in the mod chat for fiction releases here. So we've got a free BattleTech story for the month of June. It's called The Spectre of Winter by Craig A. Reed Jr. So I'm going to drop that one in chat first here. So we've got, Dave's got me. Thanks, Dave. I'll talk slow so that you can stay caught up with me. I'm going to keep with the BattleTech for now. So don't forget, we have The Lone Wolf and Fox by Brian Young. That is out, and coming soon, we are on pre-order for Shrapnel issue 21, which launches on June 13th. So that's coming. And then let's shift on over to Shadowrun fiction. The free Shadowrun story is for the month of June is Can't Always Run, a Top Drex story, which I love that little subtitle there, by Marie Bilodeau. I got to see her on stream in person playing a D&D game recently, so that was cool. And then we have the Augment issue 2 is out. And for pre-order, Shadowrun Night Court by Brian C.P. Steele. He plays Hollywood in our World of Shadows actual play live stream with Six Sides of Gaming. So that launches on June 20th and is available for pre-order now. And then finally, don't forget that Leviathans, the Geister Wolf Protocol by Michael T. Ritchie is now available as well. So all exciting stuff. In addition, for Shadowrun, next month is the release of July. Risks and Rewards is the new source book that's coming out. So that'll be July. And then I just want to check real quick because I feel like a new Shadowrun mission dropped, but I might have talked about it last week, but I'm going to bring it up again just to be safe here. So new arrivals. Let's see. We've got Margin Calls came out. That was the new source book for May. Apparent Catastrophe by Michael Stackpole is on the site. Shadowrun Missions 208104 is called Trailblazers. And that is on the Catalyst store as well. So if you want to run your mission, there it is for you. All right, what else do I got? I've got I gotta get all my windows back where I wanted them. For Leviathans, we are going to be putting out a backer update pretty soon, but we got some of the fixes taken care of for the quotes from WebSphere. And then there were a couple of errors that we found from the export, so we're getting those added on and getting the quotes for those, and then we'll be ready to upload those very soon for backers, US and rest of world backers to start putting in their shipping or paying their shipping and seeing where that is. And then I should also have an update for next week on where things are for international hubs. I know some of them have like some of the stuff is on their way, but I can't remember which ones are which. So I'll get you guys a better update on that next week, and we'll get those out in a backer update. More importantly, Runefire is gearing up. We've been doing the dev blogs. I'm going to pull up the Kickstarter link. I think I have it in the moderator chat here. But Runefire is our collaboration on the Dragonfire / Shadowrun Crossfire board game that is now Paizo skinned. So you should follow that project. That will be launching this year. So get in on that. We've been releasing development blogs from Randall and Bryn and Christian and some of the Paizo folks. And they have a Kickstarter launching this year as well. So we've been working very closely with them on Runefire stuff. I think that's about all the news for this week. So if you guys have questions, put them in chat. Dave is our moderator on duty today, so make sure you tag him so he can see your questions. And then, in the meantime, hi Marco.
Hi.
how are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah.
Good. Awesome. It's been cool to, like, I've seen your name for the past 2 years, and now we get to be on the BattleTech dev calls together and kind of get to see in action now. So I'd love for everyone to kind of get a chance to know you outside from your artwork you've seen. So let's start with you as a gamer. How did you first get into gaming?
Oh geez. So I actually don't do a lot of tabletop gaming, just to be upfront about that. I got into BattleTech more just because of the books and the art and the lore.
Awesome.
Yeah, I probably told the story a couple times, but yeah, so I have 2 older brothers, so growing up they just had rooms full of just the coolest stuff, just like robots on the walls, and yeah, I would just always raid their room, and they would hate that, but I would just tear things off the shelves, and for some reason I just kept gravitating towards their BattleTech books, and it was mostly the TROs, and just like flipping through these specs, and it just felt like I was just looking at these like manuals for these real machines, and it just like started engaging all these creative neurons in my head. I'm like, oh, robots can be real. And
Awesome.
So yeah, I just like take these ideas to school, and I'd just be sketching these all in my margins, my papers and everything, these robots fighting and like specs and numbers. And yeah, it really just kind of blossomed from there. I kept kind of wanting to learn more about that, and yeah, I got into it through the art, I would say, first.
Okay. All right. So I guess my question of how did you get started as an artist is the margins of your notebooks in school.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But how did you start with BattleTech? Did you start with other artwork? What's your story on doing this professionally?
Professionally, so my first real professional work was actually it was doing oh my god, yeah, it was 20 years ago now. Sorry, my brain's a little fried. Cthulhu Tech role-playing game was my first art commission. So I ended up doing a lot of interior for that. I love drawing monsters, so
cool.
Like that's kind of that was a dream job for me. I loved sci-fi, and just like it just mashed those two together. And from that, I met some folks who currently work on BattleTech as well. Alex Iglesias was working on that book as well. yeah, and I caught some attention from some folks who are also working in video games because they were doing some freelance on this project. So I got to work at CCP on their World of Darkness MMO that I think we were working on for about 8 years and never materialized.
Oh no.
Yeah. There's a running theme of that, of me working on games for many years that don't turn into anything. It's pretty rough.
I've worked on this that you've never heard of.
Yeah. I've been in the video games industry for about 17 years, and I've shipped one game at this point. So it's like,
Wow.
it's nice to be a Catalyst now where we can like constantly ship these products. And I'm like, wow, wait, I just worked on that like 3 months ago and it's out
Oh, that's
already?
awesome.
Oh,
Cool.
that's great. I can show people. Okay.
Real artist now.
Yeah, look, Ma.
I'm getting paid. That's awesome. So BattleTech, what was the video game you worked on that came out?
The video game that shipped would be the BattleTech
Oh,
DLC.
okay.
I worked on the core game, but as a freelancer, and then they hired me on just to kind of do concept art, and they quickly bumped me up to art director, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then jumping on over, so how did you said you kind of knew some of the Catalyst artists. How did you officially, like, what did you submit for, and how did you officially get onboarded as a Catalyst BattleTech artist?
Yeah, I kind of just took a stab at I'd sort of like my interest in BattleTech sort of like waxed and waned over the years, and I was sort of like getting really into MechWarrior Online at this point. This is 2013, and I was like, man, I would really love to work on some BattleTech stuff right now. And so I was looking up, and it looked like they're starting to kind of like pick back up again, start doing some cool work. So I just took a stab out and reached out to Brent, and I showed him some of my work, and he's like, "Hey, you're not bad. Let's maybe get you on a piece or two." And so he gave me this interior piece of this newly designed Warhammer at the time, and it's one of my top mechs. So I was just like,
Aw,
"Oh, it looks so good!" So I just put everything I had into this thing. I want to say it was like 30 hours on a
wow.
small interior piece, but I was like, I'm gonna blow them away. And I guess I made an impression because he was like, hey, we're gonna put you on some covers now, and I'm like, hey, all right.
Wow, from interior pieces to covers.
Yeah.
And so how long were you freelancing for art with Brent? And
Yeah, so I think I looked back recently, and that was about, oh god, that was 2016. So yeah, about it was about 9 years ago.
wow.
And it was just a side gig, so I was just kind of like throwing some pieces their way when I could. While I did the video games as a day job, and we just kind of maintained that for, up until 2, 3 years ago when Harebrained Schemes just kind of had a big mass layoff, and I was caught up in that, and I was like, had a call with Brent, just like, hey man, just let you know, I'm out of work now, so if you need some extra illustrations, I'd love to just kind of pick some up, help get some ends meet, and he was just like, oh, this is the
Oh,
best thing I've ever heard. Like, he texted back with all these exclamation points, so happy. I'm like, yeah, that is cool. Okay, all right, great. There's just a sense of like, sort of like, hey, what are you excited about? And then relief of just like, oh, okay, this is gonna work. All right.
good, good. So you started taking on more art pieces. Did that kind of become full time for you then,
Oh
or?
yeah, he immediately grabbed me for full-time illustration.
Awesome.
I think the first book that I did a ton of work for was the Field Manual Kurita.
Ooh,
Yeah, and I ended up doing it was about 15 to 20 pieces on that one,
okay.
including the cover. So yeah, it was a big chunk, and it was great to just like dive right in and just be like, yeah, full-time illustrator.
Awesome. So how did that relationship kind of grow, and how did it come about that when Brent got an opportunity to move on to other things, you were next in line? How did this happen?
Yeah, he was already sort of he was prepping me for the position for about a year, and I didn't fully realize it. He was very good about that. I don't think he knew he was going to step away yet, but he was just like, with your art, because I was doing art direction at Harebrained Schemes towards the end there. He was like, yeah, I could use a little bit of help here, and so he just kind of had me work on the Ilkon's Eyes only book and just sort of reach out to the artist, and I did a lot of paint overs on that. So like I was getting my feet wet with art direction, and he was like really sort of overseeing everything, showing me how all the tracking works. Um, yeah, just really running me through the ropes and just did a really good job of easing me into it without realizing that's what I was doing.
Awesome. Awesome.
uh, yeah, and then during that time, Randall reached out and was just like, "Hey, I got this little side project that we're working on. Doesn't have an art director. I don't know if you're interested." So I sort of like picked that up on the side, and that turned out to be Gothic, which I'm incredibly grateful for that opportunity because they just let me run with it. They're like, "We don't have anyone else working on this yet. Just go to town, do some cool stuff." And I was like, "Monsters
That's
and Max, sign
yeah,
me
I
up."
was gonna ask. It was that awkward, like, man, should I ask if he's helping with Gothic? But then if the answer's no, like, because the crossover of Monsters and Mechs. But I was like, but if the answer's no, then I'm gonna feel bad. So,
Oh.
all right. So, you got to. So most of Gothic is just you.
Yeah, gosh, I did way too much on that. And this is my first full art directed project, so I didn't quite know how much to do, take on myself versus how to delegate. There's a lot of learning involved in this, so it's I really appreciate that they let me kind of have that runway to do that. Yeah, I did get 4 other artists on the interior. Um, but yeah, for the most part, and it wasn't a control thing. It wasn't like, oh, this is my thing, I have to do it all. But just like, I was so excited, and anytime Randall would throw out an idea, and I was just like, oh, yeah, let's make it happen really quick. So it's just constantly just churning out work.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, and it was my first time that I got to work with our stable of wonderful mech sculptors and just like work with them and sort of direct them and pretend like I'm Anthony for a couple months.
Do do you like as an art director on Gothic as a project and just in general, do you find are you doing less illustration because you have to manage more or do you get to like cut the line and be like, I want this piece?
Oh, I totally could if I wanted to. No, I would say I do a surprisingly a larger amount of illustration than I thought I would, just
Oh, okay.
because there's opportunities for it. Again, it's sort of similar where just like something pops up really quick, and it's sort of quicker for me to just like, yeah, let me just go ahead and jam this out really quick because there's sort of like a design involved with it or something special that it's like, oh, you know what, I think we can try something new, and it's just easier for me to just whip up some sketches. But yeah, I still love just pushing the art out to new artists and trying to get like new voices, and that's one of my favorite things about this so far is just everyone's got a different style, everyone's got a different take on this universe, and trying to like pull that into our core vision and sort of like seeing how that all just mixes together. And uh, yeah, it's kind of magical when you see the final product and you get like 20 artists that are just like creating this coherent vision together. And it's like, yeah, that's very satisfying.
Awesome. Are you going to Gen Con this year?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I know it's been a trend that Brent would make some time to sit down and do portfolio reviews
Oh,
with
yeah.
artists. Is that something you intend to do too?
Yeah. Oh, I'd be absolutely happy to do that. I didn't know he does that, but yeah, I'd love to carry that tradition on.
Awesome.
I absolutely love working with young artists, and yeah, they need as much help as they can get these days with technology and just where the world is going with the
Yeah.
creatives and AI and everything. So I definitely happy to foster that as much as
Awesome.
possible.
Awesome. So if you have friends or you yourself are an artist and want to meet with Marco and show him your portfolio, Gen Con will be a good time to do that.
Yeah, come and find
And
me.
and if people aren't going to Gen Con but still want to pitch you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I would say if you want to reach out to my Catalyst email, pull it up because I don't, it's like trying to remember your own phone number.
Let me pull up my Catalyst email that I don't remember.
Yeah. Give me just a second. So yeah, it's just my name, Marco Mazzoni at catalystgamelabs.com. If you want to email me with a portfolio link, definitely show me as much art that you can that is relevant to what we do. So if you have stuff that has mechs, cool battle scenes, just take a look at the kind of stuff we do now and anything that sort of feels like it would gel with that. If you feel like you've got something to kind of add to that, cool. And even if you don't feel like you're there yet and you kind of just want some advice or something, please feel free to reach out. I love helping out and just kind of giving feedback as much as I can. Schedule permitted.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So let's kind of geek out a little bit. Talking about your history, what are some of the art pieces and the artists for BattleTech that inspired you when you were young?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, a lot of the core images from like core box sets. These are the things that like pulled me to the game. Um, yeah, I loved the blueprint posters immediately.
Mm,
The TROs, Luce's designs were just yeah. They really hit that line between like technical and just fantastic. Um, yeah, Doug Chafee's work, I still to this day I reference his the way he handles like lighting materials. I geek out over materials when I'm rendering. Like if you guys want to talk for like 2 hours about just like rendering metal and fire and battle damage, yeah, I'm all for it. But he did a really good job of that and blending designs. Uh, some people don't care for some of his designs. That's okay. I get it.
is there anything from like that used to be done that really isn't anymore that you want to do more of and kind of bring back?
Oh
I'll save that
gosh.
part of the question for next.
No, no, that's great. I would love to. I don't know how feasible it is, but I'd love to get some more traditional work because like the older artists, Doug Chafee and stuff, like they worked in acrylic. They worked with real materials. That's a harder one to ask for these days because we have quick turnarounds and I have to go in there and make all these tweaks and edits and it's like okay, this mech is the wrong loadout or you got to flip them and then if you're hand painting that, it's like well, there's another
New sheet
week.
of
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah. I guess I start over now. Um, but yeah, it'd be great if we could just every once in a while do a special edition cover or something that's commissioned with real materials. Again, talking about creatives today and AI and just like I kind of want to go the other direction as much as possible. I love
That's awesome.
the handmade art. I do my hand pushed pixels myself personally, but
That's awesome. Uh, and then are there any ideas that haven't been done before that now that you're art director, you're excited to bring in and try out?
yeah, I don't really want to shake up too much of what Brent did because he did a good job of sort of establishing things. But yeah, there's definitely some areas I want to explore on my own. Yeah, I love these big cover pieces with mechs like just going full Alpha Strike and just tearing each other apart. But I think there's a lot of room, at least in some of the interiors, for some quieter scenes where you can actually get you see the mech warriors close up to mechs because sometimes you kind of lose that sense of how big these things are when all you're seeing these is mechs, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
it almost feels like guys in robot suits after a while. You kind of forget that like these are terrifying. So like a locust can be terrifying if that's the only thing around and it's just that and some infantry. Like I would love more of those that kind of push the scale from a human perspective.
Mm.
Um, scenes in between battles, mechs being repaired. We're getting a couple more of those in. One of our main go-to artists, does some really fantastic shots of just like mechs in quiet scenes. Mechs in repair bays and sort of between battles. And yeah, I want to see some more of that. I want to
Oh,
push more
cool.
of those scenes. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I try to remind myself as well that like when I look at a mini, like I come up to like halfway up his shoe.
Yep.
Like it's it's sometimes hard to remember when you've got a teeny little mech and then you're even teeny tinier. You fit in his little visor window. So cool. So what are there any pieces that have come out like recently since your time that you are most excited about
Oh yeah.
and want the audience or want our community to be excited about with you?
Oh yeah, that's so there's a lot of great pieces and it's hard to pick a handful as I feel like I'll be missing a couple, but yeah, there's a lot of great pieces and I think Ilkon's Eyes only that I was very happy with. I'm trying to yeah, so I don't know how much to I want to call out all the artists, but I don't want to miss anybody, but um yeah, so we've got some just really great scenes with the clans just like we got some aerospace stuff that like I'm so happy that we get to explore that. One of the other things besides mechs that gets me excited is like space scenes. So being able to like get out there and explore like different perspectives and atmosphere and or lack of atmosphere rather, and just like yeah, just the high energy and the huge distances that those things cover is really kind of cool. And trying to make that fit on a page is yeah, it's fun challenge. So
Awesome.
it's cool seeing our artists pull that off.
Cool. Cool. And then what, if anything, you can talk about is coming up that you're very excited about?
Oh, well, let's see. I mean, I could talk about Gothic forever, but you guys already kind of know about that.
I'm
Hotspots.
sure people want to hear more about Gothic.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that.
Okay. Okay.
Hotspots Draconis Reach is the one that we're just wrapping up the art on right now, and there's some really cool scenes on that. That one has a lot
Awesome.
of double page spreads, which I love. It just gives our artists so much room to work with. Um, I always feel bad when we come back with a spec that's like, all right, we got 10 mechs. They're all tearing each other apart. It's on a moon surface with zero atmosphere, and they're all different colors and different factions, and it's on an 8x10. So have fun. And it's like, okay, how do you compose that? It's like sometimes you have to like really play. Okay, they're jumping so that you can fill the space up there a little bit. It's a pain sometimes, but yeah, when I can just say, all right, you got 2 pages, go to town, just leave this little area with text kind of free. It really just opens up the possibilities, and they just really go. You can tell they're having more fun with that, so it
Awesome.
comes across on the page. And this one has it. I want to say 6 full double page spreads. So yeah,
Wow.
some beautiful art on this one.
Awesome. Cool. What else?
Well, let's see. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about Gothic some more.
Let's do Gothic.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of art went into that one. I think I've mentioned this, but we had, I can look at the final files, and it's just touching 200 pieces of unique art, and that
Wow.
includes like icons and mech renders and all these little bits and pieces, but like that's a lot. So being able to just really kind of cover everything from the top down was, yeah, it was very exciting. It feels like 3 different games to me because redesigning all the mechs with this sort of gothic aesthetic was um, it was a whole chunk of time to figure out. We a lot of back and forth, a lot of just like what's working, what isn't, what's going to work at scale. How do we pull this off in 3D? But then we get onto the abominations as well, and just like, okay, so now how do we mix some monsters into this world? How do we make those look good, especially at scale too? Again, like I want to go crazy detail, but compared to the mechs, they're still pretty big. But I think the biggest one is like, it's like about this big together. So like we really kind of have to uh, boil it down to like which details are important. So uh, with any good art, it's all about editing. Like what do you leave in?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so it was a lot of fun, really going back and forth with especially our 3D guys. We worked with a lot of new artists on this, so we couldn't pull from our core team. So a lot of it was just kind of like, okay, who's available, who can we use, and yeah, just figuring out what works with these designs was a lot of fun.
What is your favorite sculpt that's coming with Gothic, and what is your favorite art piece for people to look forward
Ooh,
to?
yeah. Gosh, that one's a tough one too. It's like trying to pick my favorite kid, and I won't tell which one of my kids is my favorite. They know, but I'm not gonna say it. No, I would have to say the Rifleman, just because it feels like once I start. If you guys are familiar, it's got like the sort of it feels like a wrought iron gate on the front of its cockpit,
Ooh.
and as soon as we put that in there, it just felt like, okay, yeah, that's it. That's unique enough. It still feels like the mech the like if you look at it, it still looks like a Rifleman, but if you get close, you're like, no, no, that's something different. So like that hit that sort of that goal better than some of the other ones. Like I love the Scorpion, but from a distance, I feel like I look at that one, I'm like, yeah, that's a Scorpion. Like okay, so that one wasn't quite as successful, and so I still love it. I think it's still a fantastic design, great sculpt, but it's just those little things where like I was learning as I was going. So
Sure. And what
yeah.
about art piece?
Yeah, art piece.
And where will it be, if you know?
Ooh. Oh yeah, they got used. That's a good question because a lot of them got used between the rule books and then the core books. I think they're all pretty much all in the free book that got pushed out, which the core book,
The
the rule
the
book,
primer?
the primary. Yeah. Um, yeah. I think there's one that one of our artists, Jens Linfors, did where it shows a mech where you're standing on top of the rifleman, very up close. It was just a really moody, atmospheric piece. Yeah, I like that one a lot. It's a lot more simple than some of the other ones, but it really kind of that was the first one that hit the general mood, the vibe that I think we were going for.
Awesome.
Whereas like this is a different world, this is not it's a little it's a little edgier in a
Awesome.
corny kind of slightly corny way. Like we know what we're doing. We're not taking it too seriously in some ways, but we're also taking it very seriously in others. So I feel like that really kind of threaded that needle for us.
Cool. There's one more thing that's coming. We talked about it in the directors meeting. We're going to do more of a marketing push for it in July, but I don't think there's any reason I can't talk about it now. The 3025 commemorative edition technical readout.
Yeah. Okay, I
Uh,
wasn't sure if we could talk about that or not, but
yeah.
it's
I'm
out of the
pretty
bag.
sure
We're
I
doing
went
it.
like 6 months out back when the release schedule was reliable before tariffs hit. So, um, but we know that we're going to have some at Gen Con. So
Yes.
let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one. Again, going back to the books that really pulled me into this universe, the Tiro 3025, that was the first one. We're in the middle of moving, so I don't have it out anymore. But that was my first book. It's just dog-eared, just torn apart, but taped together. Um, yeah, I love that book, and so we had a lot of designs sort of missing from that, so we couldn't just one-to-one put out mechs we had. We didn't have all the aerospace, we didn't have all the drop ships, we didn't have all the support units. So in a very because sometimes these ideas pop up last minute and it's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? And we sort of think about it for a bit and it's like, yeah, okay, let's get it for Gen Con. Oh.
Yeah.
And this was
Yeah.
one of
That
those
happens a
where it
lot.
was like, okay, well, let's get all hands on deck and get this pushed out as quickly as possible. So Anthony and his team really just like they went all in on this for about a month and a half, just designing. We did very little 3D on this. Like we do have some that we know we're going to make models of. So some of the drop ships, we're just like, okay, let's go ahead and design these out because we'll want these at some point. But some of the other ones were just like, okay, it's going straight from the concept design into the final line drawing. So
Awesome.
that's unusual way for them to work. They like to do the line drawings off of the 3D. So
Gotcha.
yeah, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of ones that I think people are going to be excited to see. The lambs, that's uh, as a kid I loved the lambs. I know a lot of people don't like them for gameplay reasons. Totally fine, I get it. They were fun to draw though. I got to do I got to do the wasp lamb, and I was just like geeking out the whole time. So
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
it's
I just
fun.
have this image of you with a big sketch pad and like just
At
wiggling
times it
in
felt like
joy.
that. Yeah, it feels like I was like going back and like in time and talking to 8-year-old Marco and be like, look what I get to do, and he's just like,
Oh,
what?
oh, I love that. Oh, that's awesome. Um, cool. Is there anything else you'd like to share or talk about before we jump into Q&A?
Oh, I'm happy to answer questions. Yeah, I'm
Sure.
still new enough that I don't know what I can and can't talk about yet, so I'm sort of I'll let you all guide me through this.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's see here. We're pretty quiet on questions today, so if you guys
Oh,
have
okay.
them, keep them coming. Otherwise, we'll wrap a little early here. But what I've got from the BattleTech forums, any update on when the second and subsequent BFMs will be released? Do you know anything about the BFMs?
I don't know the exact timeline on those. They got, yeah, those shift around a lot. And yeah, I don't know where those are.
Yeah. Um, I'm not sure where they are either. Like they again were on the release schedule, but
Yeah.
with tariffs, everything got blown up, and now nothing's reliable. So
Yep.
that's why I've only been going through with you guys the June and July stuff, because that's pretty locked in. Like if it's not on the boat on the way here, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, you mentioned the misery map. That's one that I know was paused briefly, and now it's like back on. So like we're just finally starting to put the final touches on the art on that one.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, it's I don't have a good answer for that one for you yet. Um, I said I'd ask Josh. Thanks for the context, Dave. Love it. Any MUL updates? I know we've been saying for a while that it's getting like it's so close, it's so close, it's so close, it's so close. It's so close that we are starting the marketing plan for it, like to draft that marketing plan. So it's very close. I do not have a release date yet, but like it's very, very close, guys. So nothing I can share just yet. Kalos gaming tables, any updates for the restock of for Hinterlands? Just kidding. My copy finally arrived
I
from
was gonna say I
CJ.
saw that.
Yay!
They should be good.
I was a little sneaky last week, Marco. We got the inventory in, but it was kind of moving slow to get it into the system. So I messaged or I had Lauren on last week, and so I was like, "Hey, Lauren, these are in stock. Any idea when they're going to get online?" He's like, they could get online end of day." And I'm like, "Hey,
Gotcha.
it has been said." So I'm so glad you got that. I'm glad. And apologies that it took so long. Grom asks, any Voltron updates? I believe so. Pledge Manager is live. I was on director's meeting, and I know that one of the bonus adventures was just finished. That was a stretch goal unlock. So that is now. I think I don't know if the next step is layout or the approval from NBC Universal. So like bits and pieces of this are moving forward in the process and everything. But nothing like we're not close to manufacturing or fulfillment yet. So the backer updates is the most information you're going to be able to get to have. Cons. Oh, I did skip talking about Origins this year. Let me pull up that Origins schedule again so I can see where everything is. So they've got Build a Runner, First Taste, the SRM 2083s. It looks like 9 through 15 will be there. Oh, there's 2083 too as well. So some of the earlier ones as well. We've got CMP ones. We've got Prime Runner games. We've got Leviathans Shakedown Cruise and Leviathans King of the Skies. BattleTech Alpha Strike Academy, Solaris Melee Challenge, BattleTech Grinder, Drafted for War, BattleTech Boot Camp, BattleTech Missions, BattleTech Alpha Strike, BattleTech Total Warfare, BattleTech RPG. I think Mech Warrior based on the MWM. Yeah, so lots of stuff. A couple tournaments. So plenty of stuff at Origins. We will have a booth there. Quincy of Quincy's Tavern is going to be there, so that's exciting. And in terms of who of our team is going, the question was, let me see if I know. Randall and Bryn. I'm pretty positive Bryn will be there. Let me ask Randall. I assume he is. I haven't heard that he's not, but I will ask. At Bryn. We're being slow here. There it is.
Oh, I'm just looking at the chat. I see somebody mentioned the recent Cthulhu Tech Kickstarter. I actually did the cover on that one.
Oh,
that was
cool.
I probably did that about 8 years ago. Yeah, and they're just now getting around to using it. So Just fun little fact for you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I've asked them. Hopefully they'll respond while I'm on here. What else do we got? Billy, uh, which was your favorite alternate BattleTech universe? Gothic, steampunk, anime, etc.
Yeah, so I mean, I would have to say Gothic just because it really does blend my two favorite things. I mean, when I'm not drawing mechs, I'm drawing monsters or watching 80s horror movies. So like, yeah, for me, it's just like, yeah, no brainer. Um, that said, we're still in development of both anime and rockets and ray guns right now, and we're taking those in some really cool directions. Like, I feel like we were able to, or we sort of had to play it a little safe on Gothic as far as keeping it sort of like a reskin of BattleTech and playing it safe enough just so it was recognizable. But we're going to start peeling away a little bit more on these other guys now that we kind of know that people want us to stretch our legs a little bit more on some of these areas and make it a little bit more unique. So it's like, oh, okay, yes, we're going to do that then.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I think anime is my next one that I'm most excited for, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, Bogus Law asks, any updates about Ill Clan PDFs for the new force manuals? Do you know anything about that?
Let's see. What was the question on that?
Any updates about Ill Clan PDFs for the new force manuals?
So I don't know about the PDFs. I know we're definitely pushing for more PDFs. I think that's in a batch that we're wanting to release. As far as the force manuals, yeah, I mean, we're working on the art for Force Manual Steiner currently, but yeah, I don't know about the PDFs. That's not my department.
I sent the question to Ray, so we'll see
Okay,
if
yeah.
anything comes back.
Ray or John would probably be better to answer those.
Yeah. Who did the cover of on the Spectre of Winter? Love it. Very moody.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good question. Sometimes we have some of these sort of bonus art pieces that we commission as we go, and I think that one was kind of ready to go. So I don't know who did that one for us, to be honest. The free fiction is handled differently than our core fiction. So fortunately, I don't have an answer, but I do like that cover.
Okay. Real quick. And that question is from Craig Reed, the author of the book. So awesome. Please, Rob Bob. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Can we get more specific information on what the issues are on Leviathans? I don't have too many details. I haven't really been involved in it. I know like a lot with our Kickstarters, we end up breaking BackerKit, the pledge manager, which is where we do our exports from. So I know like I made reference to like 60 backers that were like dropped off that list for whatever reason. And then when we reran it for something else, we identified that there was a difference and had to figure out like take the time to go through a massive spreadsheet and figure out what was missing. So like that's kind of the stuff that misses. And then I know this is our first time working with this warehouse. And so like they need to get SKUs and our cat codes and the case counts and dimensions and all of that stuff takes a lot of time. And if there's anything missing or any product confusion, then it's back and forth between like, what about this one? Is this the same thing as this thing? Because the phrasing is slightly different, things like that. So I don't have a lot of the details, but I know like that kind of stuff is the stuff that comes up. And then I know that Lauren took a pass at one of the quotes that came in and was helping talk down some things like, I think this should be not included or whatever. So I know there was some back and forth with that as well. So, but I'm hearing that we are very close and then they should be getting uploaded. Billy asks, is there a mech you wish was in Gothic that didn't make the cut?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, definitely. But narrowing it, I wasn't part of the process initially for which 8 got picked. But I do like some of the ones that we picked, but I would have loved to see, especially the Hatchet Man. Something with some good melee weapons just feels like it would be perfect for the universe. But also some no-brainers would be like, Black Knight just fits with the Gothic setting, a knight mech. But one of my favorites is the Warhammer, so I'd love to do that. Like I already had some designs. I was like, ooh, can I maybe slip this in? Can I pitch it? Didn't have time, unfortunately. But yeah, I would say, yeah, Hatchet Man would be a no-brainer for this one.
Awesome.
Like if I ever get a chance to just do some fan art for my own project, it would definitely be that fella.
Cool. Gunmetal Cutlass, coming back to your question, Bryn will be at Origins. Randall will not this year. So Turbo Turtle asks, Rem, have you finished posting the interviews from Gen Con 2024? Yes. And are we going to do the same thing this year? No. Viewership wasn't that great for it. And I mean, most of our fans are at Gen Con, and so we tried to release after and see if that would help more. It didn't. Our best viewed live streams are actually past PAX Unplugged, because the majority of our fans, or a lot of our fans, aren't there. Adepticon does okay. Gen Con did the worst. So I would like to do more interview type stuff or panel type stuff, things like that, or even like maybe a virtual con or something like that, where we do some of this, those kinds of interviews, but not for Gen Con this year. Clayton asks, no, they got tariff delayed, but are the Kurita packs on a boat or shipping queue? I believe, I'm going to check something real quick because I might be crazy. But I'm going to check our inventory sheet because I feel like I remember, I might be wrong on this, but I feel like I remember Kurita are one of the ones that are already in stock. But I'm going to verify that. And because I think they got moved up in the release, because we looked at everything that like had to get pushed and the stuff that was already here for one reason or another, and like moving those up versus spacing them out like we originally had. But my head could be making this up. T-shirts, coin, course manual, mug. All of this is available at the online store. I'm crazy. They are not here yet. So I'm not sure if they're on a boat or not right now. I can ask Talon. Are the Kurita first packs? We'll see if he answers. But good question. And my memory apparently sucks, but what else is new? So.
Seems to be getting worse for me these days too. I don't know what's going on.
It's all starting to overlap. I might be thinking, because I know Star League has been in stock forever, so that one got moved up. But it might have just been that Kurita. Those are still slated for this year. When I talked to Randall, they were far enough along for that. But it was I'm not sure if they're in manufacturing now or if I'm not sure. Since I misremembered. All right, back to the questions that I have now lost. Where are you? I have too many screens open.
I see a question. Will there be more BattleTech Gothic minis beyond the ones in the box set? We will potentially be making minis for the Abominations, because we just didn't have the time or resources to get that into the core box, but it sounds like from fan interaction they do want those, and we did have the sculpts. So we have 3D sculpts for that. We just don't have those in production yet.
Gotcha.
But beyond that, no. I think this is pretty much a one and done, and that's sort of the core concept with the Continuum series is just we'll just put out a little chunk, give everyone a taste, and I never say never. If people absolutely love this and they really want us to revisit it, I would be more than happy to. But we're really just kind of moving forward to the next idea, and also maintaining mainline BattleTech. So this is really just kind of like, this is our playtime. This is where we get to kind of like tinker with ideas.
Yeah.
So I'd
Um,
love to see some fan takes on this at some point. I've already seen some cool Gothic conversions that people are doing.
yeah,
It's like, please
and
do
things
more of that.
things
Absolutely.
can change too. Like if we release Gothic and it just does incredibly well, we'd of
Yeah.
course revisit. Like,
Oh
is
yeah.
this the thing? Is this happening now?
Yeah. I mean,
But
again, we're excited to do this stuff, so it's like it wouldn't hurt our feelings if you guys love it.
and I did hear back from Talon. They are barely into production, so at least one of them has been turned over to start production. I'm not sure about the other one yet, but they're far enough out. Like I think one is slated for release in October, as of right now. But again, that could move. And the other's like December or something. So there's still time. Question from Billy: Did tariffs uh, mass affect development? Oh, did the tariff mess affect development on future Aces or Alt Reality BattleTech boxes? No. Um,
Those are
Gothic
pretty
is like,
far along.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gothic was like for getting here, it was like a couple of weeks behind, but that was it. Um, the development hasn't slowed for anything. It's just whether or not it goes to production and manufacturing and shipping.
Yeah.
Um, that's the part that slowed down. And Aces was already sent, and Gothic was already sent. So
Yeah, I would say
yeah,
anything that's developmentally affected is long down the road.
yeah,
As we're sort of reshuffling the plans of like, oh, okay, what should we put first now? So like we're talking early next year releases are going to be shuffled around just slightly. But
yeah,
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 anything that was already close to production is still going ahead.
yeah. Any other final questions in chat? Um, Marco Gable asked, any news from a Battle of Luthien sourcebook?
I haven't seen anything for that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah. No, sorry. Would love to
Yeah,
do some stuff for that though. That's a cool yeah, that's a cool setting.
awesome. All right, well, that's all the questions we have. So thank you guys for tuning in. Marco, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure as we have more exciting releases and news in the future, I'll have you back on as well. But thank you for all you do for keeping BattleTech alive and well.
Oh, just
Um,
thanks to Catalyst for letting me do this. It's a dream job.
awesome. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys all for joining us. We'll be back next week. See you then. Happy Tuesday.
All right. Bye everyone.